I toured, I befriended, and I ministered. So I'll talk about touring first, because it's a trip to a different country, and I don't like being labeled as a tourist, but we nonetheless did touristy things which were cool. For example, we went to Kyoto, which is the old capital. So there's a whole bunch of beautiful temples and shrines there. This is Kinkaku-ji, which is the Golden Pavilion. And it's on the outskirts of Kyoto, so Kyoto is behind me as I take this picture. So it's just a very aesthetically beautiful place.
And you took the bullet train down there, right?
Yes, I did. I've got a picture of the bullet train a little bit later. I went to Tokyo on my own a few times. You're given quite a bit of liberty and freedom to do what you want, as long as you're not a goofball with it. So I went to Tokyo. One weekend I went to Sunshine Aquarium, which had quite a few familiar fish, but even more creatures that I had no idea existed. So that was a neat experience going to the aquarium. All over Tokyo and Japan as a whole, there are tons of children, which is super cool because they're very happy children and they're very safe. Japan is a society rooted in honor and shame, as opposed to guilt and innocence. And so, I mean, of course there are bad people in Japan, but it's a very safe place. So kids would wander around on the streets and they'd only be 6 years old. And so when I first arrived, I was like, what the heck are these parents doing? But it turns out it's totally normal because it's a very safe place to be. This hat I got at Tokyo Disney Sea. There weren't many kids there. Most of them were adults or 20-somethings like myself. So the second thing I did was befriended. So it's incredible how hospitable and friendly people were in Japan. The kids and my peers, my fellow senseis or teachers, and the older folks as well were all incredibly friendly and hospitable. I'm here, the one that can't jump well, and these are my two friends. We and some other people went to Mount Fuji on the last weekend, and we put on some traditional samurai armor and pretended to fight each other. The picture's cut off, but these are my two friends that I made on the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, which goes incredibly fast, and it's super amazing. I was a little nervous just before taking this picture because I was sitting in the Shinkansen. One of the crew members came up to me and he asked me where I was from, and I said America, and he asked me to come with him, so I thought he was gonna kick me off the train. Turns out he's obsessed with America. He rolled up his pants. He had American flag socks. He had an American flag phone case and an American flag wallet. And he just wanted to know everything that I could share about America. He actually took this picture, so I'm sad. We're friends on Facebook, but I don't have a picture with him because he took this picture. This is a picture of Pokemon Go. Me and my friends played an absurd amount of Pokemon Go. It came out 2 weeks after it came out in America. So all of my friends in Japan complained about how stupid it was that the Americans got to play Pokemon Go before the Japanese did, because Japan created Pokemon. So this was it right outside my apartment, which I admit a bit shamefully that I played a little bit too much. But it was all joking aside, it was a cool culture to partake in, being able to connect with Japanese people over Pokemon. The last thing I did was I ministered. So the point of going to Japan, while I did get to see some cool things, I spent Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Shion World. This is an aerial view of it. It's a kindergarten outside of Tokyo, so you're not in the hustle and bustle of Japanese life. I would go here and I would spend time basically just playing with kids. I consider myself an uncle in the fact that I had to enforce rules when they were belligerently breaking the rules, but mostly I just got to be a really fun adult for them to play with. A whole bunch of tag and origami and hugs, and they called me Oni, which means it's basically like, you're it, you're a scary person, let's run away. So they'd say, Oni, Oni, and they'd run away. This is Maya-chan, one of the people that I love most in my entire life. And I certainly hope I will see her again. Gosh, she is just one of the many kids that invested in me in incredible ways. It's hard for me to fathom just how much love a 5-year-old can share when they don't speak your language at all, other than good morning, because she would say that all the time, even in the afternoon. This is in the main foyer area of the school, so a lot of they would call me Oni and run away from me a lot in this place. And they're adorable. They do dance. We sing all the time. We do dances. If you like being a goofball, and if you want to return to your childhood roots, this is exactly the place that you need to be. And if you don't like being goofy and you don't want to return to your childhood roots, this is still the exact place that you need to be.
And Nishin also I will say, if you don't like children, don't apply. But if you like children, it's a good place for you.
I like children. So these are some of my favorite girls in the world, besides my mom. There's Maya-chan, poking her head there. So this picture I took on the very last day, before they left for their summer vacation. I still stayed at the school for a little bit doing daycare, but I didn't get to see these girls again after I took this picture with them. And I don't know if you went to Deepa last night, but I shared this story where I left after saying goodbye. I sat in this potato garden at the school and I bawled my eyes out. Like an ugly, ugly cry, completely raw and vulnerable, because I couldn't help but express the emotions that I was having. I felt so filled with love because of these kids, and I felt so empty of love because I had to say goodbye to them. This is a really cool picture of what Shion World stands for. So less than 1% of Japanese natives are Christian. However, Shion World is a light in that darkness. They're the Nishimura family. They're your host family. They also run the kindergarten. They are unapologetically Christian, and that's what they root their mission in at the kindergarten. And so it's cool seeing kids buy into that idea of a savior, even when their parents don't buy into it, and when 99% of the people they will interact with for the rest of their life won't buy into it. And so I think oftentimes people say that people will tell you that this opportunity is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which in a sense it is. You'll never be able to spend 3 months in a different country for less than $1,000 and get to partake in all of these incredible opportunities. However, for me, I don't think that it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because when I sat in that potato garden and I bawled my eyes out, I realized that I have so much more that the Lord can use me for in that place in particular. So I plan on returning to Shion World and working with those kids. I really hope I can see Maya-chan again, because she's one of the most precious things I've ever known. But I certainly encourage you, if you do love children, if you love joy and laughter and goofy dances, look more into this opportunity. And if you wanna know more of my story and my experience, please just ask me, and I'd love to share. I'll probably talk way too much about it because it has transformed me in a powerful way. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much. This program operates in the summer for 3 months, but it also operates in the fall and the spring. And we just normally don't have a lot of students applying for the fall and the spring. Whereas Tokyo Christian University, for global studies majors who want Japanese language, it's a year abroad at Tokyo Christian, but you can go for 1 semester at Tokyo Christian as well, and I'll that as well later. But this one you get 3 credits of Japanese language if you want it. You have to take Japanese language so that you can talk to the children and get around Tokyo. But you don't have to take the Japanese language for credit. You just have to take it, and then for survival. And then you're also going to get your core 274 and then 275 in the summer with Shinya kindergarten. And Minako Nishimura, the principal of the kindergarten, is one of our graduates from Spring Harbor. So they came to us and said, after she went back and started the school with her father, said, less than 1% of Japan is Christian. Can you send us Christian students to help in the kindergarten? It's a ministry. So it truly is a ministry. Yeah, thanks so much, Jody. And next, Heidi is going to take us to Guatemala. And Heidi, thank you for running the slides. Heidi was there last year as well. And Heidi's going back in January. She loved it so much. So Guatemala, this is FAU Guatemala semester. This is we're going to review the classes you can get at this program, but it's the same cost as going to Spring Harbor for a semester with your CCS benefit. It would not cost you more than
So
what?
why wouldn't you go?
One student asked me, well, okay, you have a 3-week Guatemala experience and a semester experience. What's the difference? And you can get more classes at the semester, but I said, well, would you rather spend 3 weeks or a semester for the same class in the land of eternal spring?
Yep, exactly. So I went for a semester, and like Diane said, it was the same exact cost for me to live in Guatemala for 3 months as it was for me to, like right now, for this semester, to live here on campus for 3 months. So the Spring Harbor Guatemala semester program is based in Antigua, Guatemala, which is one of the previous capital cities of Guatemala. It is no longer the capital, but because it was a previous capital city, it's very historically rich, cobblestone streets and ruins around every corner. It's just a really beautiful city to live in for 3 months. So that's where it's based, but you do travel around the country of Guatemala on the weekends, plan trips, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is kind of a overlooking picture of the city of Guatemala with a volcano in the background. It's just a beautiful place to live for a few months. So these are, I know it's a little bit cut off, but these are 4 of the main things that I just want to talk about, 4 of the main aspects of the semester in Guatemala. So there's living in a colorful city, learning Spanish, going on weekend excursions, and joining in the culture. So first of all, living in a colorful city. It's just a beautiful, colorful, vibrant city in a lot of ways. I showed 2 pictures of actual colorful streets. It's beautiful, the cobblestone and the landscape is just amazing, but it's also very culturally colorful and vibrant. People are very hospitable, very inviting. They want you to take part in their traditions and in their culture. So it's just a beautiful place to live all around. Learning Spanish. You will go to a Spanish school called Cambio, and you will work one-on-one with a tutor to learn Spanish. Now, I am a Spanish major, so I took 15 credits of Spanish while I was in Guatemala. You can do that. You can take up to 15 or even more credits of Spanish while you live there, but there's a minimum requirement of 3 credits of Spanish. Like Diane was saying with Japan, you want to be able to speak the language of the people that you're living with. So there is a requirement of a minimum of 3 credits of Spanish that you will take if you go to Guatemala, but you can take a full load like I did as well. And so your tutor works with you one-on-one, and you start at the level that you're currently at, and you work your way up. So it's really individualized. It's a great way to learn Spanish. And then weekend excursions. There are planned weekend excursions that Paul Nemechek, he's the person who lives in Guatemala. He is a professor at Spring Harbor. He used to teach on campus, but he now lives in Guatemala, and he runs this program. He's the director of the Guatemala semester program, and so he organizes and leads trips on the weekends. Not every weekend, but roughly every other weekend. So you go on those trips with your group, but you can also plan weekend excursions on your own if you want to. So like zip lining was one thing that some of our group did on the weekends that wasn't planned as a group, but we got to choose to do that. So those are cool ways to experience the rest of the country outside of Antigua, because Antigua is a beautiful place, but it is kind of a bubble. You do realize that it's different than a lot of other parts of the country. So this, going on weekend excursions is a great way to see other parts of the country as well. And then joining in the culture, it's kind of cut off. My Guatemalan family is to the left of where it cuts off. But there was a picture of 2 other girls and I from Spring Arbor who lived with a Guatemalan family. And so really we got to just join in their family life. And so you live with host families while you're in Guatemala that are organized by, by Cambio. And so you get to, our family not as much, but there were some families that the mom would just invite the Spring Arbor students to go to the market with her and buy some food that they were going to prepare for dinner. Or they just really invited you to take part. And so our family often had relatives over, and we got to meet their family and see just how they, related with one another. And so it's just a really cool way. Living with a family is one of the best ways to learn Spanish, first of all, but also just to learn how the culture of Guatemala really works and operates in the family, in the home. So that's kind of an overview. And I just do have a few FAQs that I want to talk about. I think there are 4. So the first one is, what's the weather like? Well, Diane mentioned it's called the land of eternal spring, and that literally is what it feels like. It feels like springtime all the time. There is a rainy season that's mostly during the summer months. But during the spring and the fall semesters, the weather is perfect. It's kind of up in the mountains, so it's not too humid. It is warm, but it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It cools down at night. So it's just a beautiful climate to live in.
It's about 76 to 82 daily.
Yeah, just about perfect. What kind of food will I eat? I didn't show you pictures of food, but the food is it's very good. If you're worried about spicy food, you don't really have to be worried about that. There are times when you can add spice to your food if you want to, but it's prepared very plainly for the most part. You eat a lot of chicken, rice and beans, obviously, tortillas, eggs for breakfast a lot of times, soup for dinner, things like that. Lots of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, squash, zucchini, things like that, mangoes, so good. So that's, in general, what the kind of food you'll eat. It's very good. Where will you live? I kind of touched on that. You live with host families. You're not living in a hotel, you're not living in a hostel, you're living with a host family, a Guatemalan family.
And another Eskimo student.
Yes, you won't be by yourself, you'll be with another Spring Arbor student. And then, does it matter what my major is? This is geared towards Spanish majors. If you're a Spanish major, you do have to spend a semester abroad. That's a requirement. So this is perfect, and it's perfect for me. But there has been such a wide variety of students that have gone to Guatemala. It really doesn't matter what your major is. If you're Spanish, obviously. I'm education as well. I'm Spanish with elementary education. It works for that. It works for business, especially international business, global studies, even things like health and exercise science. Sociology, exactly. So you name it, it's okay. Your major is okay to go to Guatemala. You just have to, as Diane is going to talk about after this, you just have to be aware of your plan, your academic plan, and make sure that you're fitting in your classes. You'll work with Carol and Diane to do that. But yeah.
We got it.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'll write my email on the board if you want to talk to me or ask me questions.
Or she works in our office,
Yeah,
as
Heidi
Heidi,
as
so
well.
you can stop by any time and ask us questions. Carol, how did you turn those lights on? So I want you to be able to see your package here, and I also want to make sure that you get out in time, and we have a lot of stuff to cover. Yeah, that's for sure. So, did you all get a magazine as well? No. You can grab a magazine on the way out, and they're available if you want. This is the magazine that Cross Cultural published last February, and you will all get another one in February, but it gives you the costs of the different programs, and the semester abroad programs are in the back. So, how many of you are thinking about going to one of the programs that we talked about today? Okay, how many of you are thinking of another program? And which ones, tell me which ones you are thinking of. Oxford, okay. Okay, that's one, okay. I'm sorry? France. Okay, good. So are you a French learner? Did you get one of the purple sheets? Carol, can you get a purple sheet for this one right here in the second row? Okay, so to start with, there are two, we have to explain there are two kinds of semesters at SAU and two types of workshops. Two types of semesters and two types of workshops. The ones that we presented today are some of our own semesters, and if SAU, if the title of your program says SAU in front of it, then all of your SAU institutional aid applies to that program. We also like the other programs, but the Oxfords and CCCU and other XA, OMBEX, and so forth. So, but we can't afford to have you keep all of your institutional aid for those programs. So that's all explained at a semester abroad workshop called International Semester Abroad Workshops. And Carol does those and goes through the whole process of how do you apply to Oxford, how do you, or OMBEX, or any of those that SAU doesn't own. She also has a workshop for SAU semesters, which are Guatemala, SAU Jordan, SAU Japan, and Tokyo Christian University, where all of your institutional aid, your SAU aid, does apply to that semester, in addition to your state and federal aid. So there is a process for you to apply for scholarships from Spring Arbor for those non-SAU semester programs, and that's what will be explained at the workshop, because it's much too lengthy to go into in the time that we have today. So what we want to do today is help you think about your grad plan and how you can save some of your gen ed classes so you're not going to take all of them your freshman and sophomore year, and then by the time you're ready to go on semester abroad, you're like, oh, ooh, that's what I should have waited to take at my junior year when I go on my semester abroad, because that's what the class at Tokyo Christian or wherever counts for. So one of the main things I want you to hear today is work with us and maybe the freshman transfer advising center people in the back of the room here, Laura and Julie and Katie, who can't be here today. Where's your office?
Center for Students and Citizen College, across from the ping pong tables.
Okay, across from the ping pong tables. So you can go get extra help from them in planning your grad plan and talk to them about your goals. Now, all of the programs that you heard about today talked about language. The SAU Jordan is an Arabic language program, and it's ideal for global studies majors and also for those who want a minor in Arabic. Kelsey is the language school that provides our program there, and they're fabulous. They are a Christian language school. If you took Arabic at Michigan State or somewhere in Egypt or whatever, you would be taking Arabic, Islamic thought and practice, which is a little bit different than modern standard Arabic spoken on the street. So Kelsey's teaching you practical Arabic that you're going to be able to use to speak with people and not study the Quran. So there's a little difference there. So those of you who are one person who is a French minor here, right? Or if you're a global studies major and you decide to concentrate your language in French, the XA program is ideal for you. That's in Strasbourg, France. And we can talk individually with you, but we've got 2 students there this semester who are having the time of their lives. They are being embraced by their homestay families. They're right on the border with Germany, so they kind of have a foot in Germany and a foot in France, but it's technically in France. They're taking lessons at the University of Strasbourg at the Institute of Language there. They test you when you first get there to see what your French language level is, and you need to be about at intermediate level. And then you get to take French cooking and French whatever, all these other classes that are language application kinds of classes, and tour around France and just have a wonderful, wonderful time. So The students that are there now are absolutely loving it. One girl wrote to us and said, I went to church on Sunday and I didn't know anybody there, but everybody was really friendly. And afterwards, the pastor's wife invited me home for dinner. so just know that you're not going to be, all lonely by yourself there. So language and then Spanish majors or minors ideally will go to SAU Guatemala for a semester, but if anybody can go to Guatemala semester. We have, if you look at your pink sheet in your packet here, you can see at the top it says Spanish majors and minors, what you're going to take if you go, but other majors, including global studies majors, but sociology or any other major could get a lot of these gen eds. So if you look at statistics, intro to sociology, social psychology, international relations, international human rights, intercultural communication, world religions, core 300, you're going to get a lot of things besides Spanish and cross-cultural at your Guatemala semester. So take a look at your grad plan and see what you want to do. Are there any social work majors here? Okay. The social work majors can do an internship their senior year in Guatemala if they have Spanish. And so if you decide that you're going to be a social work majors get into grad school and get jobs more quickly with a Spanish minor accompanying their social work major. So that's a good marriage there, social work majors and minors. Let's see. Okay, so if you look at these two sheets, the tan one or the ivory colored one are the SAU semesters. These are the ones where you would keep all of your SAU aid. The pink ones are the Council for Christian Colleges and other programs that we've vetted and are good programs, wonderful programs, but we can afford to have you enter a room here, join a class and give you a big scholarship. But we can't afford to give actual hard dollars to Oxford, for instance, and have you. But you can apply for something called Semester Off-Campus Opportunity Grant, which is a scholarship replacement of your scholarships. Some of you, if you have good reasons for going where you're going, you would get all of your typical SAU aid in what's called the Semester Off-Campus Opportunity Grant, but we've shortened it. Financial aid shortened the name to SOCSA, so the whole string of Semester Off-Campus Opportunity Grant Fund. So we don't have to keep saying that tongue twister. So you could do that. As Abby mentioned, you could apply for the Gilman Scholarship. If you're going to Asia, you could apply for the Freeman Asia Scholarship, which is you do not have to be a Pell Grant recipient. You do have to be a U.S. citizen, but as long as you're getting any kind of need-based aid, you would be eligible for the Freeman Asia. That's worth up to $3,000. If you're studying Arabic or Japanese or Chinese, that's a strategic language, and the funding from Gilman, if you're a Pell Grant recipient, is up to $8,000 possible. So on your pink sheet, you see these are the programs that are not owned by SAU. AMBEX is in Germany, in Regensburg, Germany, and Bavaria, and that program is explained on the aqua sheet. So anybody can go to AMBEX. You don't have to study German language, but that is a part of it. But you can get a lot of your gen eds in this program, including your cross-cultural. So if you take a look at this aqua sheet, you can see on page 1, you can get your cross-cultural. You can get philosophy 210 by taking Christian worldview. You can get the theology, religion 320, Luther, Calvin, and the European Reformation in their class where you tour around Europe and study about Martin Luther and Reformation. There's an art class where you are studying art history and go to Italy on tour of some of the Renaissance art down there that can count for your Gen Ed Art 152. And modern European literature can count for English 112 or English 255. So you can get a lot of your gen eds at this program. And if you want to study German language, you can opt to not take the literature class and instead take German language. Or if you want 2 German language classes, you can opt to not take the art class and English literature class, and you still have to go on the Italy tour, but you're not taking the class. And that way you can get 6 credits of German language in. On the back, you'll see how these credits work out and how much this program is. This is our most expensive program. Although it says $22,000 here, it says plus language lessons plus $1,500 to $2,500 for travel during reading weeks. There are reading weeks between these classes where you can have the opportunity to go to London or Athens or Spain or up to Norway or wherever you want to go in Europe. So, but that is that extra cost. So that's the OMBEX program. Flip your page on the pink sheet and you'll see XA, the French program in Strasbourg, France, which we explained earlier. Also done with the Council for Christian Colleges and Universities, you can go to Australia Studies program. This is ideal for Christian ministry studies, business internships, drama, history, a lot of different things. And you can see all about their classes online at bestsemester.com. And I just have to say they named themselves. This isn't really necessarily your best semester. That's what they chose to name their programs. I would beg to differ that the SAU programs are just as wonderful. So, but Oxford is on the 3rd page. This is your opportunity if you love rigorous study and research to fulfill your cross-cultural and possibly toward 400, and then get a bunch of other credits. So you can take up to 17 credit hours at Oxford. The core courses are the Integrative Seminar and British Studies. British Studies counts for your cross-cultural, and Integrative Seminar can count for Core 400. And then you have tutorials. Oxford and Guatemala semester are taught by tutorials. So this means you have an expert in the subject that you want to study, meeting with just you, and you do readings, and then you come and you discuss your readings with them, defend your ideas, and write papers. So you have access to the Bodleian Library, the most famous, extensive library in the world for your research. And you have the opportunity to play on Oxford sports teams if you want to do rowing or soccer or any of those things. You are an Oxford guest student. If you love rigorous study, I would say for sure go for that. Go for that semester. This one is also expensive, but because it's Oxford, the most prestigious university in the world, Spring Arbor will allow you to keep your socks off grant and your CCS benefit for this program. Then flipping over, Uganda Studies program. Are any of you nursing students? Okay. Well, if you're interested in health careers, they have a health track. So it's more public health, and that's on the last page here. But then Uganda Studies program is ideal for social work majors because they can do their internship there, or if you're just interested in African studies, you can see all the different classes that you can get here and what they count for here at Spring Arbor. So the left column is what does it count for here at Spring Arbor in your grad plan, and on the right column is what do I take while I'm there. So let's see, this green sheet tells you when our workshops are. So I want to point out that SAU semester workshop, the next one is October 20th, and we have limited seating at those workshops. So if you're going to come to that one, get a hold of Carol Hobstow, and her email is right here, carolah@arbor.edu, and make a reservation so we don't have too many people in one room coming at the same time. If you want to go to Oxford or one of the other ones on the pink sheet, The next workshop is October 27th. And then if you are interested in the Gilman Scholarship, if you're a Pell Grant recipient and a U.S. citizen, I'm doing the Gilman Workshop on November 3rd. And if you're not a Pell Grant recipient but planning to study in Asia for a semester, you would be eligible to come to that as well. So, and then I just want to point out Thursday, February 16th is Market Day. That's going to be in the Rough Area where we do an international fair showing all the 3-week programs and semesters abroad and people that have been on these programs there to talk to you and answer your questions. So those are some things that you're going to want to put on your calendar and get reservations for the workshops if you want to come to the workshops. This green sheet explains a little bit about the costs at some of the programs. It also, in this sheet, it reminds you that if you're going to one of those programs on the pink sheet, the non-SAU owned, you need to apply for the semester campus opportunity grant. And that is explained at Carol's workshops. On the back, it tells you approximately what the costs are for this year. You're not going to be going this year, but it will give you an estimate. You can compare that to the cost of going to Spring Arbor, so you can see what the costs are to go to these programs that are not owned and operated by SAU. The aqua sheet, the other aqua sheet, this lists all the programs that we vetted and you can get credit for on the front. On the back, it tells you, so this is kind of like your one-stop shopping like summary sheet. On the back, it tells you who has been there, what students have been there, their names and email addresses if you want to send them a quick email about what was that like? Did you like it? What did, any questions you might have that we can't answer maybe in the CCS office. And then also who the liaison is here on campus. So let's see, that's just a little overview. Then here are their blogs on this yellow sheet. So people that are on these semesters right now in Guatemala, or Jordan Abby's back, but she's got her blog up. Guatemala, Ambex, Australia, and then flip it over and you've got student teaching abroad, Ambex, again, another Ambex, Japan semester in the summer, and Uganda Studies program, Tokyo Christian University, and more. The last handout, I think, that we haven't reviewed yet is this little blue sheet, which is like us on Facebook. We have a CCS Facebook page, so if you friend us on there, you'll get CCS announcements. We are also on the SAU app, so find us on there, and we'll have reminders and slides up on all the, TVs around campus and stuff like that for anything going on in the cross-cultural office. But that's how to stay connected and know what we're doing and how you can be a part of it. So there's a couple of other tips I want to give you here. Are any of you language majors or minors? Okay. If you talk to your advisor, you know that you're supposed to get 50% of your classes for language here on campus, unless you're studying Arabic or Japanese, which we don't offer. But if you're Spanish, French, or German, you need to get through the 306 level here on campus, and then you're eligible to go abroad. So just make sure you take whatever level you're starting at, and they can test you to make sure you're tested and starting at the right level here on campus with your classes. And sequence those so that you've got 306 taken care of before you go abroad. That's only for language majors and minors. And then the language classes that you'll get abroad are 300 level and above. Childhood immunizations. Nobody at Spring Arbor goes to study abroad without having all of their childhood immunizations. It's not that we love you and we care about you, but it's not about you. It's about you bringing measles and mumps back to campus or some other dread disease, and us having a public health concern with all the other students and people here on campus. So the reason you need those is that, and that's the reason for the policy. So what can you do now? Now is your time to prepare. Take a look at your immunizations, if you have them, if you submitted them to Holton Health and Wellness Center, go talk to them, have them look at them and see if any are missing. Every year at Farm Frenzy, people come to register for their cross-cultural and they're like, oh, ooh, I'm missing this shot, and so we can't enroll them. So don't let that happen to you. Get yourself over to Holton Health, have them check out what you've had and see if they're complete. If they're complete, great. Bring that sheet to Carol and she'll put it in your file, and that'll be one thing checked off your list. The other thing you could do is apply for your passport. We take passport pictures in the cross-cultural office, and we have applications there for U.S. citizens. If you're Canadian, you'll need to apply elsewhere. And a passport is good for 10 years. So if you don't already have one, that's something you could do this year to get that out of the way. And that costs out the way. They're $135, but they're good for 10 years. And then you'll have it in case you need a visa or something else put in, and you won't have a lot of tasks stacked up against you as you're applying for your program. Let's see what I have missed. I think we've covered everything on my sheet, but you may have questions. Do any of you have any questions? Yeah.
We were talking about the cost of a passport. You know, if a passport renewal, what the price of that is that the same as getting a new one?
That's a good question. If you applied for a passport before you were 16, and the passport that expired is that one, you have to apply with the regular passport application, not a renewal. If you applied when you were after 16, that's a 10-year passport, so you would have to be 26 in order for you to do a renewal. But if you have a passport that expires at age 26, then you renew. Before you're 16, it lasts for 5 years. And that's considered a child passport. So as an adult, after age 18, you have to go apply for an adult passport. Yeah. What is your major? Okay, so with global studies or international business, you could go anywhere, but I know you need language concentrations. So it depends on what part of the world you want to work in, as to which language you want to get. So I would say look at the magazine and at the different programs that we're offering. XA is for French minors, or those who speak French at an intermediate level, and global studies and international business, you only need to reach the intermediate level. So it depends on if you want to declare French minor or if you want to do something else. I think it would be Guatemala, Japan, or Jordan, probably, unless you want to declare a French minor.
So I think it's similar to like a Spanish minor, for example, or requires like study records or like that, but you still take a semester though.
Absolutely. It's ideal to go for the semester because you want to be proficient in language and we want you to be proficient. If you're only 3 weeks in a culture studying language, you really can't get proficient. But our students who've been there get really proficient in a semester. So that's the ideal thing to do. Although Spanish minors who can't take, maybe they have way too many plans, maybe they're a double major or something, and they can't get a whole semester in. They can do a 3-week in January, but it's not at all ideal. So we don't recommend it. Hi.
I noticed that in the catalog it mentions some of the study program, and it does say there's lots of contention there and plus the credits. Is that still in existence?
Middle East Studies program is in existence. It's centered in Oman right now. It was in Egypt, but Egypt kind of imploded, so they moved it to Oman. But they visit countries under travel warnings, and the catalog will also state that SVU does not allow students to go to countries under U.S. State Department travel warning. So they go to Israel, they go to Lebanon, they used to go to Syria, they go to Turkey. All three of those are under travel warnings. So yeah, we won't give credit for. It's a wonderful program, but it's political science in its perspectives mainly. So it's not. I don't think what you want for your criticals.
I was mainly interested in it, and unless I missed what the catalog, it was at least in Israel. That's the point.
I think they have to spend about a week in Israel.
Okay.
It's a tour.
I thought the next were
Yeah.
it was States.
No,
Okay.
it used to be. It's in Amman now. Yeah,
So it's still quite a different thing.
Yeah.
So
it's a political science, global. It would be perfect for somebody who's going into the State Department to work, but it's not. I know you and your goals, and it's not what you're looking for.
So actually Jordan.
Yeah.
Does it? So it couldn't visit Israel because it's under a travel.
Correct.
So, as an honor student, how does that transfer over credit wise? How does that work with
Honor students should be going to Oxford. I'm sure that can be worked out, depending on what you want.
Can I just add something? Yeah. When I was in Guatemala last semester, there was an honor student, and she was able to do a seminar class. It was like online honors, and I think she was able to like Skype in every week with the professor to cover that credit. So that's like one option.
Gotcha.
He also took stats with Paul, and also with an honors course.
Okay.
So he can make that.
Paul Nemechek, at least currently, I know the honors program is changing a bit, but currently, professors can make any course an honors course if you just work with them. And what they're talking about from Guatemala is Paul, I call him the St. Francis of Spinner. He's an amazing man, but also an amazing teacher. He teaches on the Oxford method where you are in a tutorial. So, you know, if you wanted to take statistics in my tutorial, I'd recommend it. But any of the classes that he teaches, we've had students go down there for one semester and loved his teaching and how much they learned so much that they worked to get another semester down here.
Do you ever have multiple semesters on the same spot?
Yes, good question. We've had students do a 3-week program and 2 different semesters in different locations. So, Spinner is a school that wants to send you abroad. We know how important study abroad is. That's why we've made it a graduation requirement. And so we just really want to empower you to do as much as you can.
Then I also said you can also do
You can. You only have one cross-cultural benefit, which pays your way. If you get the magazine, you'll see some of them are no-cost trips, and others cost a little bit more because of where we're going and how much it costs to get there and live there. But our goal is to make them all affordable.
If you do go to one, when you apply for, could you potentially have built-in for another one?
Well, potentially, anything would be possible at the Gilman, but one of the questions on their application is, have you ever studied abroad for credit before? So they're going to weed out the people. The intention of Gilman is to empower all students who might not have the chance to go abroad to do so. So they're going to give first choice. They're going to pick the people who haven't done it as opposed to someone who's on their second round. Other questions? Well, I want to thank you for coming and tell all of your friends who didn't make it here that they can get this on video. They can go see Carol for the packet of information because they'll want to look at things as we review them. And then come and see us, come to the workshop, and we'll get you started on achieving your goals for semester abroad in cross-cultural. Bless you.